Fed up of spending 5 to 6 hours a week in the gym for little to no results? This was the position I was in years ago when I first started training, hammering that push-pull legs 6-day split. And I was actually finding that I was plateauing in the gym, my weights were stalling, I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. In this video, I'm going to be explaining the strategies that I used to actually train less time in the gym per week, and I saw far faster results in terms of changes in physique. I know how frustrating it is. It's extremely demoralizing if you're spending 5 to 6 hours on something per week. You want to feel like that time invested into the gym is actually providing you a return on investment. So what I actually did was I stripped back the amount I was doing in the gym, and instead of just winging my workouts, throwing a load of random exercises together and not tracking that the weights were going up, I started following a structured training program, which can be 3 days a week to start, which could be full body or push-pull legs, for example. It doesn't make a massive difference as long as there are some big key exercises in there, which are compound exercises, meaning multiple muscle groups: squat, leg press, chest press, row, pull down, shoulder press, all these key exercises. You can follow any form of structure, and as long as you are tracking that the weights are going up, you can pretty much guarantee that you are going to see changes in shape, provided that your form is decent. And this is because of two key mechanisms to build muscle. First thing that we need to build muscle is training intensity, and this is where a lot of people go wrong. They're fixated on 4 sets of 10 or 4 sets of 15, 3 sets of 8. Now, it's all well and good ticking off the number of sets and reps that you need with a plan going into the gym, but if you're not actually pushing yourself close to failure, and by which I mean not leaving more than 1 to 2 reps in the tank, the training should get difficult. You should be pulling some weird faces at the end of your sets. If you're not, it's probably a sign that you're not pushing yourself as much as you could be. And this is where a lot of people leave too many reps in the tank and they're not getting the most out of every session. So you have to go into your training expecting to really push yourself in each training session. Now, the second key thing is progressive overload. Now, progressive overload simply means increasing the demands on your body over time. And I always explain this to clients in a simple format, which is, if you do the same thing over and over again, why would you expect a different result? So if someone's a marathon runner and they have to build up to 26 miles, if they went out and ran the same distance every week, they're never gonna adapt their body to the point where they can actually run the 26 miles. Same applies for building muscle, right? If you lifted the same weights that you were at the start of the year, at the end of the year, you're not gonna be forcing your body to adapt and change shape. So the weights need to be going up. Now, the key to doing this is doing it slow and steady. If you think about adding 1.25 kilos or 2.5 kilos to the bar every other week, spending a couple of weeks building up the reps, and then adding a small increment up in weight, you extrapolate that over a long period of time, over say a year, that is going to result in a lot of gains. But the problem is people rush the process, add too much weight on, get like 2 reps, have to go back down in weight, tail between the legs, and then getting frustrated with their rate of progress because they haven't got this structure in place to their training to guarantee those changes in shape. How do we actually guarantee this over a longer period of time? Well, the other side of the equation people do not think about, which is rest and recovery. This is where people sell themselves short. Now, I've been there myself, doing the 4 sets, trying to rush my sessions in before or after work. Problem is if you're only resting say 60 seconds between your heavy sets, eventually you're going to get to a point where you're so fatigued towards the end of a session, the weight stall, and you're actually hindering yourself by not allowing your body to recover. Now, some simple things that I did and you can do to ensure that the weights keep going up through progressive overload is implementing rest days when you need them. So this could be 2 or 3 days training, a rest day factored into your week, and then another couple of days of training if you are training for say 5 days a week. Now, at the start, if you've got a structured training program that is 3 days a week, say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, with that scheduled rest day in between those sessions, you will be able to push harder, increase the weights quicker, which means more progressive overload over time. The other thing you can look at is rest periods. So instead of resting 60 seconds between sets on your hard sets, go more for like 2 to 3 minute rest periods. And that means that the weights may actually go up quicker over time because you're focusing on those sets being higher quality. The other key mistakes that I was making back in the day was neglecting my sleep, and this is interlinked to the point about alcohol as well. So if you're watching this and you're going out and drinking lots of alcohol every weekend, I'm afraid to say it's basically a form of self-sabotage, because alcohol is then going to decrease muscle protein synthesis, which is the process of building muscle, and it's going to hinder our sleep, which means sleep quality is reduced, your ability to build more muscle is ruined as well. So I was actually self-sabotaging, and once I started dialing in my alcohol intake, moderating that, and then only saving it for special occasions, I found that my progress rapidly increased. So you've really got to ask yourself, what do you want? If you want to go out every weekend, it's fine, but you kind of have to accept a slower rate of muscle gain in the gym. If you'd rather prioritize that, then try reducing your alcohol intake slightly, prioritizing sleep, recovery, rest periods, rest days, and I promise you the weights will fly up and you'll see those big changes in shape that you're looking for. Last thing to check is that you're having sufficient protein to support your muscle growth. Now, I've seen this with clients where they've come to me already in good shape. I had one client in particular, already a big guy in good shape, lean, some muscle, but he thought his muscle growth had capped and he was plateauing, weights weren't going up. As soon as we looked at his protein intake and dialed in on his diet, increased the amount of protein he was having on a consistent basis, the changes in physique were insane. And this is one simple tweak that can make a massive difference to your diet. So combining this increased protein intake with the fact that you are tracking your workouts in the gym, following a structured training program, which could be 3 or 4 days a week in the gym, you're giving yourself more rest days and focusing on the quality of those sets that you're doing in the gym with more rest periods as well. As long as you're doing that, taking more care of your sleep, these are the basics that are not very sexy, but they will make a massive difference to you seeing better changes in shape. And the best thing is, all of this is going to save you some time, because instead of hammering yourself and battering your body into submission for 6 hours a week in the gym, how about doing 3 to 4 hours with a more methodical approach, and you can pretty much guarantee those changes in shape if you keep applying that progressive overload. I really hope you found these tips useful. If you did, hit like and subscribe to the channel for more simple fat loss and muscle building tips. I'll see you on the next video. See you later.